Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Today's episode is going to be about how, in this one situation anyway, how this particular officer that I knew got blackmailed. It happens a lot. I know a lot of people want to think that officers get involved in situations in the penitentiary of their own free will. Most cases, that's true. But there are those times that officers get put in the huckleberry. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? And they find themselves faced with a dilemma. Do I report what happened, or do I do what I'm being told to keep my job? Because if they report what happened, the chances are they'll lose their job. And that's what this episode is going to be about. So I want to share that with you. And so, just like I say, to give you another example of the lifestyle and the way you have to think and be, you know what I'm saying, to participate in this lifestyle, right? So I want y'all to just sit back, relax, y'all, and enjoy the show. Check me out, y'all. Listen to me. Listen to me now. Listen to me. I need you to pay attention to this because this is real. I used to tell myself, you know what I'm saying, that whatever it took to make it, whatever it took to get what it was that you need, you know what I'm saying, that's just what it is, right? Because I would dilute my mind and thinking that, you know what I'm saying, as long as I get to the other side of this, I got to do what I got to do. That's the rationale, you know what I'm saying, that you put yourself through when you're in this environment, right? But what I understood to be real was not being real. And it caused a lot of pain to people. And in this episode, it's going to be about this female. She was an officer. You know what I'm saying? Actually, no, she wasn't an officer. She was a kitchen steward. She was a kitchen steward. She was not an officer. She was a kitchen steward. And a kitchen steward is somebody that works in the kitchen for the state. And they make sure that we do what we're supposed to do and, preparing the meals and taking out the trash. They make sure that we get paid. They make sure that we, at work and make sure that we're clean. They make sure that all the rules are being followed and stuff like that, right? It's a very important job, very serious job. You know what I'm saying? Because you're feeding the compound. And the people that I know that work in the kitchen stewards, and the people that run the kitchen, they are very prideful people, and they take a lot of pride in doing what they do and very serious. And this particular kitchen steward, she was very, very serious about her job, but she was nice and respectful to everybody. She was nice and respectful to everybody, but she was very serious about her job. Now, a lot of the guys that I knew that got down and got money, right? Because back in the day, what we used to say, if it ain't killers, it's drug dealers. You feel what I'm saying? Those were the circles that you ran with. You know what I'm saying? And most of the people in the circles that I ran with were that. You know what I'm saying? Affiliated or non-affiliated. You know what I'm saying? As I say, peons, right? So it was a cutthroat mentality. You know what I'm saying? So at work, a lot of times, the guys in the kitchen, because I didn't work in the kitchen, I was a clerk in the unit, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times the guys in the kitchen, they would have to do a lot of things that they didn't want to, especially if you was a drug dealer. You feel what I'm saying? Because you felt privileged, because you were one of these guys on the streets that were making a lot of money. So you thought it would be, most of them thought it was beneath them to be, doing that type of work, washing pots and pans and fixing somebody's tray and sweeping up the floor, particularly listening to a woman. You'll be surprised how many people are in the penitentiary have a problem listening to a female in authority. You understand what I'm saying? But that's part of that mindset, right? And then when it comes to the people in here that are the killers, you feel what I'm saying? They, in the penitentiary, it's a hierarchy, right? It's a hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? And people, the lion at the top of that pile is the people that got the murder charges. It's as simple as that. So a lot of times, people with murder charges expect favor when it comes to not the administration, but from the guys surrounding them in blue. You know what I'm saying? If they like, man, you go over here and take care of it, they think that, because you got a murder charge, or they got a murder charge, that, you're supposed to go do that. A lot of people think that, right? So a lot of the jobs in the kitchen, in the chow hall, a lot of people have problem in doing it. And these particular guys that I'm talking about, the reason I'm telling you this, laying this foundation, is because these guys that pulled off what they pulled off against this kitchen steward, they were the types of dudes. There was 3 of them. 2 of them were drug dealers, 1 of them had a murder charge. And they were getting their money. They were shaking the spot. Real talk. No questions about it. They were getting money. They would show up to work late, all this and that. And whenever she cracked that whip on them, they would get upset. You know what I'm saying? They didn't like it. So they plotted. They said, man, look here. If we don't get control of her, we're going to do whatever. We're going to have to do whatever she tells us to do. And then if she tells us to stay late for work or whatever, because they might have a pack coming in. And she wasn't with none of that. The things that you normally would do to get leverage on somebody in the penitentiary, somebody that worked the penitentiary, she wasn't falling for none of that. She wasn't impressed by the money that they were making on the streets or in the penitentiary. She wasn't impressed that they had starch pans, ironed and creased and all. She wasn't impressed by none of that. What impressed her is you coming to work and you doing your job every day and then you taking your butt back to the unit and you do you and then she go home. That's what impressed her, but that's not how they were. They wanted to continue to ease through life. You know what I'm saying? As if, they were still, on the streets around the people that made them feel like they were special. You understand? But she wasn't on that. So let me tell you what they did. This is how this plot unfolded. Like I said, they were getting money. I told you that. They were getting plenty of it. So they get this money, man, together for this one dude. This one dude that they felt like they could approach. He worked in the child hall with her. Yeah, it was a free world person too. So they approached him and said, look, man, what's up with Gal? And he told them too much, running his mouth, because that's how some people do. You feel what I'm saying? She's this, she's that. And when they saw that he had just a little tinge of animosity towards her, because she was over him too, right? You feel me? They hit, bam, got him. Look here, man, you do something for us. And he was like, what? I said, man, what's her address? Let me get her address. Now keep in mind, these individuals lived way on the other end of the state. I'm not going to tell you where, but they live way on the other end of the state. So is having her address for what? What good is it going to do? And in his mind, the guy that worked with him, what harm can it do? You feel what I'm saying? What harm can it do? They can't do nothing to her. You know what I'm saying? He's looking at them like, y'all ain't got it like that. But he said, nah, I ain't going to do that. That's when they offered him, look, I'm going to give you $500. $500. You just give me her address. That's all I want you to do. Just give me her address. So he looked at him, $500 for an address? No, they said it better be her address. If it ain't her address, we're going to have a problem. And keep in mind, right? I said killers and drug dealers. You feel me? So he knows this. They looking at it, man. Look, you in or you out? Man, look at that man snatched that $500 like he was snatching a McDonald's hamburger, man. I'm telling you, with cheese. Snatch that thing. Said, I'll have it for you tomorrow. Man, look here. He came in early the next day, went through the files, personnel files, right? Got that woman's information, gave it to him. He not only gave them her address, he gave them her phone number. Very private information. Very, very private information. Very private information. Now, let me tell you what they did, though. This is the thing about the plot. Now, pay attention to this. Because they didn't play fair at all. But that's how the game is. That's how the game is. I'm telling y'all now, you better wake up to this. That's how the game is. So this is what they did. They took and mailed just a simple package. Nothing major. You feel what I'm saying? Nothing major. Nothing that would bring attention to anything. It's just a simple package, right? Of some food items. I misspoke. Not no food items, some clothing items, right? But this is what they did. Now, you got to peep the game now, because I think y'all ain't following me. Y'all ain't following me now. They mailed this package to her, but on the outside of the package, guess what they had? They had one of those receipts where the person got to sign for the mail. So they get a return receipt with her signature. That's all they needed. So the package got shipped out. When it got delivered, she had to sign for it because she wasn't at work when it got there, they say. So she had to go down to the post office. She signed for it. Boom, guess what happened? That receipt gets sent back to the people that sent it. Now, she ain't even peeping game. Like, who is this from and what is this for? She don't know the name on the envelope, on the package or nothing like that, right? But when she get it, she open up with some clothes in it. Oh, this must be the wrong. I don't know where it is. Whatever the case may be. She looking at this like, what is this? But she didn't pay no attention to it, right? Took it back to the post office, told them this got to be wrong, this can't be her, this is and that. They were like, ma'am, it's got your name on it, keep it, throw it away, whatever you want to do with it, it's yours. She went on about her business, did not give it a second thought. Did not give it a second thought. Until a week later. Because it took a few days to get back to the city that it was mailed from. Again, I'm not going to tell you. I know you want me to. I'm not going to tell you. It got mailed back to that city. When it got back to that city, it went to one of the females that belong, you know what I'm saying? She comes to visit dude that she would do, right? One of the dudes. She smuggled that thing in them pans, you know what I'm saying? Way down deep. She smuggled that thing in with one of them packs. When he get the pack and open up the pack, he got that receipt. Now, he called the other two in there. They got this receipt. They got this kitchen steward's information, her name on it, right? Her signature's on it, right? Now, look here. Now it's time for the cross. Peep game now. Peep game. So they slick. They go to work. They wait a couple of days. They go to work. They intentionally go in late. When they go in late, you know, like it's a roster when you go to work, right? Where she checking off everybody's name. And then at the bottom, it's a place for her signature and the person that's over her signature, right? To make sure, you know what I'm saying, that everybody's at work. So her signature's at the bottom. They compare them. It's a match. It's a match. Just like a DNA test. It's a match. They looking at it. Oh, we got her. Now, I know most of y'all out there saying a signature ain't nothing. A signature is something if you know what to put on top of it. You feel me? The signature is the ice cream. See, they finna put some sprinkles on that thing. You feel me? So when they pull it to the side, they tell her, say, look here. Didn't you get a package the other day? She looking at him like, don't say nothing, but look at him. Then said, don't even worry about it. So you see this right here? They done made a copy of it. You see this right here? You remember signing this? And she looks at it. And she said, where you get that? And she grabbed it. They let her grab it. She said, where you get that? She said, that's that receipt that you signed when you got that dope for us. She said, I ain't got no dope for y'all. She said, that ain't what we gonna tell these people. We got your signature on a return receipt. And them receipts got the date and time on it and all kinds of stuff and all that, right? All of that. So now they start telling her this is how this gonna go. When we come to work, don't be telling us to do all this old stuff. You feel what I'm saying? And if we don't come to work, you put us down as come to work. That's how petty they was. It's about coming to work. So they saw when she bid on that and didn't turn them in, because they was expecting her to turn them in because she was by the book. But when she didn't turn them in, they were like, oh, and I'm going to tell you something about people. Let me tell you something about people now, especially people in the streets. You give an inch, they want a mile. I'm telling you, I know now. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though. That ain't no secret. So when they saw that she bit and didn't turn them in, one of them sitting down one day talking, they done got a little high on their weed. They laced up too now. They laced up, so you know they tripping. I said, look here, man. She ain't turned us in. Why don't we apply a little bit more pressure and make her bring that pack straight to us? Then we ain't got to go through the visit. We can get it how we want, when we want. And then we can make her go get it. Put a little money in her pocket at the same time. They trying to totally corrupt this woman. I'm talking about totally corrupt her. This family woman that ain't never in her life done anything wrong. All she did was do her job, got on the wrong side of some people that didn't like her, and then they popped her down because her coworker didn't like her. You feel me? So when they corner her off and they tell her, look, this is what we need you to do. She's a nervous wreck. She ain't been sleeping good. She ain't been acting right. Everybody in the dining room they're saying something's wrong with Miss Such and Such. Something wrong with Miss Such and Such. She ain't herself. She barely coming out the office. She ain't saying nothing. She ain't doing nothing. She ain't making sure people come to work. The productivity is going down. The cleanliness is going down. Everybody's noticing that something is out of whack here. And then they start pushing on. See, that's how people in the penitentiary do. They pushing. When they smell blood in the water, come to get you, just like them sharks. And they pushed on her so much. She couldn't take no more. So she did what she should have did in the first place. She went to see the warden. She broke down and told the warden what had happened. She swears up and down to the warden on her kids that she don't know how they got her information, because that's what she was scared about, because they're not supposed to discuss that type of stuff with her. But she don't know how they got her information, but when they confronted her with that, she was so afraid that they would think that, because that's how people in here do. The people that work here, they cutthroat. Most of the time, they don't look out for each other. But this particular warden, he wasn't trying to hurt her, because her work ethic had spoken volumes to him. And when she went to him privately like that and broke down like that, he went into protect mode. It's one of mine. You know what he did? The tip of the spear comes out. The tip of the spear, that's IA, y'all. The tip of the spear. Go get him. When the warden turned the internal affairs loose on you, it is something to see. And these dudes, their names have been coming up, but they just hadn't had anything to nail them with. Now they do. Because she told them that they showed her a copy of a receipt with her signature. So now they know what they're looking for. They know that they got to have it somewhere. They can't throw it away, because this is the leverage that they have over, right? When I say they tore up their cell, it wasn't one piece of paper that was not thrown on the floor that had not been looked at. And lo and behold, guess what? They find They find the original receipt. And copies. Yes, all three of them had copies put up just in case something happened. They was going to continue to put the pressure down. They found all of it. Straight to the hole they go. Now, what's the point in this story? What's the point in telling you this? Because I wanted you to know that it takes a certain mindset. It takes a certain mindset to do this. I've said this before. I've said it 1,000 times. When you live in this type of lifestyle, you have to totally give up everything decent about you. Even if you've been traumatized, right, by what somebody else has done to you, right? It doesn't give you the right to bring trauma into another person's life. But let me say it like this. Excuse me. Once you become aware that you're harming people connected to the trauma that you've been through, there are no more excuses. It's incumbent on you to get some help. And that's what a lot of people in here don't do. I'm not tripping about these guys doing what they did, because they thought that they were doing what it took to do the things that they were used to doing. That's how their minds were working. What I am tripping on them about is how easily they were able to do it and continue to do it and wanted to continue to push. At some point, it has to be a reckoning of the mind, of the heart, to say this is wrong. Because if you're not doing that, if you don't start to question yourself, if you don't start to at least question yourself in some of the things that you might be doing, you are out of control. You're out of control. And then at that point, the Bible says God will hand you over to your reprobate mind. All right now. Don't do that. Because now you're dangerous to everybody. You don't care nothing about nobody. So don't y'all come this way. Don't come this way. And I'm talking mentally first. Because if you come this way mentally, eventually the physical manifestation of that is going to be prison. Trust me on that. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. And I'm your host, Joe Baker. And I say peace, y'all.